Hello everybody and welcome to another Marvel Legends review. In today's video I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm taking a look at a complete wave. Today we're looking at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man Build-A-Figure Marvel's Lizard wave, comprising of Marvel's Lasher, Spider-Woman, SpiderPunk, Prowler, Mysterio, Spider-Man Noir and the unbelievable Gwenpool. So amongst all of these figures we have a really nice balance between Secret Wars and some Web Warriors. First out of her package we have the truly stunning Gwenpool. Now this is Gwen Space Pool from the real world, and she's been thrust into the comic universe. Going to the superhero tailor, she wanted to be unique, and he read her name as Gwenpool, thinking that she loved Deadpool, so made her a very Deadpool-esque suit. Yeah, she is a mercenary, and she has had great success in the Marvel Comics. Now, first of all, let's take a look at her accessories. She comes with two of these very nicely sculpted blades. She has this gorgeous alternative head sculpt with that tongue sticking out there. That's a fantastic look, and it's actually incredibly well sculpted as well. Really nicely done. We get the most likely to be lost accessory. This is a mobile phone for Gwen to hold in her hand. It is ridiculously thin. It's made of a very flexible plastic, much like you get with like a DVD case. It's made like that, and I can see this getting lost. So I may put that back in the packet, but we do have a wonderful hand that holds this phone. That is fantastically done. I love the way the fingers wrap around the outside. It's a very natural looking pose, and the thumb sits beautifully on the home button. We get two weapon wielding hands and some selfie bunny ear fingers as well. And of course she also comes packing the very nicely sculpted tail to our Build-A-Figure lizard. Gwen herself is very nicely done. I love that penguin backpack. It's a shame they print so bold on the torsos as well, but as far as I know that's a new sculpt for the head. I love the trainers on her feet as well. The skin tone is probably a little bit more pastel than I would like. You can see the plastic kind of underneath just coming through there slightly. Done better skin tones, but all in all she's pretty much as comic accurate as you're gonna get from a Marvel legend. I mean, come on, look at that. That is fantastic. Slight head swap, fingers up, holding the mobile phone. The swords fit nicely down the back there. They have nailed Gwenpool, so to speak. Next up, we have Marvel's Prowler. I always thought Prowler was kind of like a good guy. I'm sure I remember him in the cartoon being good bad guy or bad good guy. He meant well, but he kind of turned to a life of crime. His ability to shoot from the sections on his arms there, the purple that they've used is absolutely gorgeous. Really nicely done, very vibrant. It's almost got like a pearlescent tinge to that. It goes all the way down throughout the cape. It's not as metallic as we go down. We do have a few blemishes, but there's a nice little wash over the top there. Sits quite comfortably over his neckline, pegs in on the back like we would expect from the capes. Pretty crisp paints there, nothing really untoward, and we've got that very vibrant purple again being used on those ankle guards. Nothing amazing about the guy. It is what it is, does exactly what it says on the tin. Love those kind of spangly fingers that he has going on there as well. Very, very cat-like indeed. Now of course he does come with a rather large accessory. This is of course the lizard's leg. I've heard a lot of people moaning about the bends on these, and people have popped the pins out and they've turned the legs around, and I can see why it would annoy some people. It's a very strange cut, but that's what Hasbro have gone for, so I'm sure there was reasons behind their madness. Let's take a closer look at that head sculpt as well. Really nice how they've sculpted the mask going up to the nose as well. Really looks like there's a face under there. Seam is quite large on this, but again we've got like a sculpted ear underneath the mask as well. It's been done exceptionally well. Next up we have the mighty SpiderPunk. This is what I envision a Optimus Prime Spider-Man to look like. This is of course the rocking SpiderPunk from the Web Warriors. He comes with a very flexed guitar. I'm gonna have to put some heat or something on there because that's got a really strange bend on that bridge, and his sneakers, as amazing as they look, they're really loose. He just wants to keep toppling forward. Don't know, may have to kind of pop those off there and tighten those up, but really love the sculpt, especially on that jacket. That is really well done. He's got a very small plectrum in his hand as well. Of course we can either say that that's the web slinging pose, of course it's the completely I'm gonna rock on pose. He gets a clenched fist as well as a guitar holding hand. Look at that, he's even strumming the strings there. Look at that, that's really nicely done. And we get the lizard's very scaly, very terrifying arm. Love the yellowing around the outside there. Let's just take a look at Spider-Man a little closer. Let's just remove his guitar. Love the design there. Really one of my favorite Spider-Men of late. We're not getting anything new. It's all the same old articulation wise. The head is still on that pivot, etc. Much the same with all of these figures. Nothing is completely new and mind-blowing, but all in all it's a very good looking line. They've done a very nice job at capturing different elements of the Spider-Verse. Next up we have the very reluctant Web Warrior Spider-Man Noir. Wasn't he in Secret Wars? Was it Secret Wars? Or was he the Web Warriors? I don't know. But he's recently had a fairly decent incarnation in the Web Warriors cartoon, where he actually got to square off against Joe Fixit, which was great. As you can see, there are some reused parts. He's seen here donning the coat that was used on the Red Skull, and by the looks of things he also has Bucky's torso with that folded over chest. Looks to have the Red Skull's trousers. So again, nothing really new, but love this take on Spider-Man. Nice glisten to that coat. Really crisp colours. Very, very stiff joints on those arms. He comes with two pistols, one for the left and one for the right, and we do have a holster for one on his hip. Really good head sculpt on there. Again, love that mask being pulled over the nose with the creases. Definitely looks like there's a face underneath there. They're getting better and better at these, and we get another arm, again beautifully sculpted. Next up we have Spider-Woman. Now this isn't my favourite take on Spider-Woman by any means. I'm not a fan of this costume. The face sculpt is pretty good. I want to say that that's a reuse of the Mockingbird head I'm pretty sure it is. I love those shades going over the back there. And the hair is pretty much a standard. Nice throw over the shoulder. Paint on the chest. It's not terrible. Love the pinning of the costume there. How it wraps around the waist. Hands are quite sloppy. You can see that they've painted the flesh tone over the top, but they've left the hinge. Not a fan of that personally. And I don't know if it's just mine, but she is a very good contender for those most likely to disappear accessories. My glasses just want to keep popping off. I think there's like a hairline crack on them straight out of the package, and I just want them to sit over her nose, and they should stay on, but they don't. Now, accessory wise, we get the lizard's torso and coat. Nice tearing on the back there. There's his butt. Just slots in there. Nice rubber coat there. Again, this nice burns possibly, or yellowing from being in the sewer. But it's a very hefty looking torso. Next up, we have our 6th member of the wave, Mysterio. The guy whose illusions come to life. Love the sculpt on Mysterio. One of my favourite villains back in the day. I remember I had some of the Ladybird books, and one of those had Vulture in, and the other had Mysterio, and he fascinated me. Now, was it Dormammu he struck a deal with to make his illusions come to life? I really can't recall. I'm sure it was some demon. We get some very nice kind of mystic magic going on here. You can see like the tentacles swirling up and down. These are nice. I haven't seen these before. Have they been used? It's definitely the first figure I own that has these. Very, very magical indeed. And the sculpt on him, well, he has this lovely pearlescent smoked dome, and underneath there you can see a very tormented soul. We have a nice black wash on these green gauntlets, and he has those kind of spell wielding hands. Got this very nice checkered look to him, very reminiscent of his comic book appearance, and some nice studs again on that really bright green cloak we've seen used several times before, but I do like how the wrap goes around the dome and how it sits on his back. And if we can, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get this over. There we go. Look at that head sculpt. That is beautifully done. Absolutely love that. I think some of the earlier samples had a green head, which in my opinion was slightly better because you could see it more clearly through the dome, but definitely loving what they've done. He's my favourite villain from the Spider-Verse that I own thus far. And of course he also comes with the leg of the lizard. And finally, the 7th member of the wave, we have Marvel's Lasher. I absolutely love how the symbiote looks. Now we've got these 4 different arms that peg in on the back there. There is some flex in them, but they do have individually sculpted holes, so only certain ones fit in certain holes. But look at the colour of that. That is a very nice colouring indeed. Sculpt itself, nothing new. I think we've seen this several times. We do have some very unique feet though. Love how they look. This is going to go straight on my son's shelf. He is symbiote or symbiote mad. He absolutely loves them. He's got Venom and a Carnage at the moment. I've got the Anti-Venom and Agent Venom. But if there's any others out there that you can recommend for me to get for him, definitely on the lookout. I think there's Toxin as well, isn't there? I'm trying to think which ones have been released. There's a few of the old symbiotes, isn't there, from the planet of the symbiotes. There we go. Gorgeous looking figure. And he also comes with an amazing head. That is the lizard, whose eyes look incredible. Gorgeous sculpting and just he looks very dinosaur-esque though, doesn't he? Not sure if that's too much dinosaur in there. Mind you, they were lizards, so maybe it's the step in evolution. Just look at those teeth as well. Sculpting on these figures in general is getting better and better, which finally leads us on to our glorious Build-A-Figure, the Lizard. Look at those guys, what a wonderful team. Right, to start off, well, let's start with the head, as it's on a nice easy ball socket. Just want to slide that down and there we go, work that on to the socket. You can plug the arms in. There we go, that's tabbed in nicely. You'll feel a nice solid click. There we go, again, that went in quite nicely. There we go. I can see what people mean about these legs though, they are quite annoying. And then finally come around to his butt. So I'm assuming this is Doc Connors, isn't it? I know at one point Peter Parker was the Lizard as well. Was that Spider-Gwen's universe? I don't know which Earth that was. Earth 650? I'm not off the top of my head. But I really like how the Lizard looks, you know, as far as baths go. Yes, his articulation is going to be limited due to those knees. I mean, that's the bent knee, that's the straight knee. So I can see why people have a grievance with that, but we do have all of that articulation on the foot, and we kind of use that toe as an extended leg. Really like how that comes out. And you've got the hips outside, upper thigh rotation. We do have an abdominal crunch in there, but the coat is quite rigid and it kind of stops us from getting a full range there. The arms can come up and down all the way across on a ratchet. Upper bicep rotation, get a double jointed bend on that elbow, which unfortunately only just brings it over the 90-degree mark. And we get a bend and a rotation on that wrist. Coming to the head there, it can come that far down and that far back, and again, like I mentioned, it does have that neck joint and it does look very dinosaur-esque, really does. The tongue's really cool until you pull that jaw right back and you can see that it kind of just stops and you can see through the jaw. But all in all, I really like what they've done with the Lizard, and he's a fairly good size as well. You've got this articulation on the tail which can go up and down. We use that as kind of a base point for keeping him solid. We get a nice curve at the end there as well. It's not the most natural looking of tails, but it helps no end when we're trying to get him balanced, and kind of really love that hunched over look that we can get him in. Being said, the articulation on this guy was pretty good. It just didn't really look much like the Lizard. I mean, wasn't he in the Super Mario movie? So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Build-A-Figure Lizard Wave, courtesy of Robot Kingdom. Really love how the figures look. I think Spider-Woman is probably the weakest, followed closely by the Prowler, and maybe then the Symbiote, then Spider-Noir, then Mysterio, SpiderPunk, and then Gwenpool. I do love, I've kind of found a whole new level of love for Gwenpool. But Lizard is a very good purchase for me. I know there's a Marvel Select Lizard out there who does stand slightly taller. Some people may want to sacrifice the articulation for that extra height, because we know that we're going to get a good sculpt with the Select. Personally, I'm happy with how big this figure is. He kind of stands just above your normal 6-inch figure when you extend those legs as far as they will go. And I'm really hoping to get like the Marvel Select Rhino or something like that as well. We're getting a new Doc Ock as well, aren't we? Although I would have loved some kind of flex in those tentacles of his, but I will eventually be building up my Spider-Verse, and this is definitely a very good place for me to start. Are there any other figures out there that you can recommend as part of the Spider-Verse? I am always open to suggestion. Until next time, from myself and the entire Build-A-Figure Lizard Wave, thanks for watching, goodbye.